Someone was asking how to proceed with the relationship when they've met their twin flame.
Okay, well, to start with, these terms like twin flame and soulmate get very, very confusing because lots of us don't know what that means, and again, it's syntax. It's a word that we've assigned to something. So there can be a whole lot of different relationship contracts that occur, and we could be calling them by a specific name. But I'm just going to address this, you and this relationship the way I feel like you mean it, which is that you have met the person who's basically a complementary to you. Now, here's the fun part about that, right? If you have met a genuine, soulmate relationship, then it's not going to take effort. Do you want to know why? Because they're going to complement you. That means when you have issues in the relationship and those come up, you're going to work on them together, and you're not going to have to try to get them to do that. In a soulmate relationship, essentially, two people are as much invested in the relationship as each other. So that's why it feels so good. Because it's like the evolution happens in a way where anytime there's friction, that friction is turned into something more beautiful. And your level of self-acceptance essentially would have gotten you to a point where you were ready for a partner who could have that type of relationship with you. If you're in another type of relationship, and depending on which spiritual teacher you listen to, we'll be calling this one thing or another. Some spiritual teachers call the terrible kind of relationship twin flames, by the way. So, you're going to know, basically, whether you're with one of these, what we would consider to be a conscious growth relationship, real painful, if the person isn't working with you. So, you asking that question, there's no point if you really have found a soulmate, because it will just, happen. You don't need to worry about how it proceeds. You will be working on it together, and it will not take effort to do that. But if you have found the other kind of relationship, where that person basically is there to mirror something you need to work on in yourself, not together, they're literally just look at you, and then you're supposed to go internally and deal with that yourself, then it will be quite painful to try to advance in that relationship. Because, obviously, the reason for them being there is not that you stay there with them permanently. And, it is a potential for that type of relationship to turn into a soulmate relationship, although it's very, very rare. So, what I would advise is, because you're not entirely sure, I feel like, whether this is the first or the second kind of relationship, that the way to progress is to set out a protocol for how to deal with your conflicts, to make sure you're really, really sure about the boundaries for the relationship itself. And that's something that can only be agreed upon between the two of you. So, I would do that. I would make sure that you guys talk. Communication is freaking everything in relationships. Absolutely everything. So establish a modality for communicating about absolutely everything. And then after that, I would address your own worries that this is going to mess up. Because if you're even on here asking me how do I proceed if I've met my soulmate, that I bet comes from this vibration of oh my gosh, I got to keep this one because it's the one. If it is the one, you don't need to worry about it.